Hello, and welcome again to another Something Something Chat Show with Tom Jr. Jackson Presents, a very goof live stream. And I am, as always, Tom Jr. Jackson. Welcome, 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 welcome to the show. And as always, folks, please click the like and subscribe buttons. It helps us out dearly. Let's see. Welcome to our lovely moderator, friend of the channel, host of the Positive Fandom channel, host of Sunday Brunch Live, Ladies of the PGS, and Midnight Musings, RM. Hello. It is good to see you. And for those of you watching who came last night, thank you for showing up today. I did a live stream last night after Rob did his stream and had some great people show up. Dark Plato, welcome. I had Fernando Barrero show up last night, and we all had a great chat about classic movies and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that late night chat. And I'm so glad to see all of you here today. As always, folks, please remember, if you have a question or comment, shoot them into the chat there. Or if you would like to send a letter to the show, you can send a letter to, and I just put it right into the chat there. You can send a letter to Tom's something email 69 at proton.me. That's proton.me. I found an interesting email and I thought I'd use that. Hello to the hidden. It is good to see you again as well. Sorry if I seem a little laggy. As I said, worst internet in the world. So, what did I want to do? So, I wanted to share some things with you today. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, RM. Thank you very, very much. I wanted to show something. So the next season of Jack Reacher is coming soon. And as you all know, these shows are based on books. Let's see, what's this say? Okay, so they're all based on books. And if you have not read the Jack Reacher books, they are the best books to read. You can go through them like butter. They're very action-packed, very good. So season 2 is based on a book called Bad Luck and Trouble. And I happen to have the book. This is what season 2 is based on. And for you to know, basically what the plot of season 2 is, it's this. From a helicopter high above the California desert, a man is sent free falling into the night. And Jack Reacher is plunged into the heart of a conspiracy that is killing old friends. Reacher has no phone, no address, no ties. But a woman from his former military unit has found him using a signal only the 8 members of their elite team would know. She then tells him about the brutal death of one of their own. Soon they learn of the sudden disappearance of two other comrades. But Reacher won't give up, because in a world of bad luck and trouble, when someone targets Jack Reacher and his team, they better be ready for what comes right back at them. So season 2 of Jack Reacher is going to be a banger. Hello, Maria Espino. It is so great to see you, and I hope you are well. So Bad Luck and Trouble is the book you wanna, if you really want to bone up on season 2 and get a little high, a little info on it. Bad Luck and Trouble. This is the book to check out. It's a very good book. A very good book. I love the Jack Reacher books. The narrator for the audiobooks could be a bit better. Well, Maria, it is always good to see you. Folks, please check out Maria Espino's channel, youtube.com/@after the sequels. She is doing a Star Wars animated fan film, but not just one, 3 animated fan films and a television series. Yes, I messaged you back. We will definitely get in touch. I almost got in touch with you last night. I almost was gonna message you saying, "Look, I'm going live. Come on live with me last night." But we'll get together. We'll definitely talk. I'll message you back and we'll set up a time. But definitely check out After the Sequels on YouTube. You'll see a little bit of a teaser on there. You'll see some segments on there that explain why they're making why she's making her fan film. And I think the latest things that they talk about is villains. So yes. You've been so busy. Yes, I believe you with that. Which, by the way, if you missed Robert Mara Bennett's observations last night, the first half hour or so, brilliant. Rob goes off about reading and how pick up a book, folks, and read. And he beautifully makes a passionate plea for reading. It's a really great thing he goes into, and it was a great episode. And then he scared half the audience when he yelled at the top of his lungs, "Read a fucking book!" And you just see people going, "Oh my God!" I bet they were all wearing headphones. Rest in peace to their ears. But yeah, Maria, I will definitely get in touch with you so we can chat. Yes, it was definitely a Reading Rainbow style type plea from Rob. And I'm actually writing a letter to him about reading. But Rob mentioned something that spurred that. When I was a kid, I used to love finding out that movies were based on books or they had movie tie-ins. They'd have the little novelizations, and I used to read those like crazy. And, Rob would bring that up, and he brought that up, and it made me remember all about that. So that was a cool thing. Maria says, "I am an avid reader." Well, I'm a binge reader. Like, if I can get into it, I will binge read books. Like, recently, I started rereading. I mean, I have about 6 books I'm already reading, but then I get sidetracked and I read something else. But I always get back to what I'm normally reading. I have the Indiana Jones books here. And this is Indiana Jones and the Hollow Earth. I would love to see them make animated films out of these, but do it in the old 2D hand drawn style. And yeah, this one's Indiana Jones and the Hollow Earth, and the other one I have is Indiana Jones and the Peril at Delphi. But Indiana Jones and the Hollow Earth, he battles Nazi explorers in the Arctic, which, come on, we all want to see that. We all want to see that. So, another book I have, and this one is really going to pique RM's her little sensors on her head there when I show her, as this one is Luther the Calling. Now this Luther book, if I can do it like this, Luther the Calling is written by Neil Cross, who is the creator of the Luther series, and this is a great book. It's just like watching an episode of Luther, but it's really in depth and stuff. Even Guillermo del Toro says it's a gripping, taut fiction by a new master in the genre. And let's just say, let's do a book club segment on your channel, Tom. I'd love that. Pick a book and do a monthly show and give folks a chance to read it and then discuss it chapter by chapter. I like that idea. Oh, yeah, I like that idea. I like the cut of your jib, as they would say. Well, I really enjoyed the last indie movie. I didn't have a problem with it. And besides, it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be doing an older Indiana Jones. It would be part of his younger years, which this is, which these books take place in his younger years, almost. Like, probably, see, this one takes place in, I can tell you exactly. It tells you 1934. This book takes place in 1934. So, I have a huge Audible library as well. I have 3 credits saved up, and I'm waiting for their next. I'm waiting for the next 2-for-1 sale that they do. You get 2 audiobooks for 1 credit. So then I can get 2 for 6 books for 3 credits, which would be great. Yes, we certainly park our shuttles in the same shuttle bay, or as I would like to say, we park our we put our books in the same shelf. We park our books in the same library? I don't know. Yours is better. But yeah, but there is online. If you look on YouTube, someone actually did a mock-up of an animated Indiana Jones, like what it would look like. And it looked really, really good. And people were like, I want to see that. And it's out there. There is a mock-up of something like that. Someone as a fan did something up. And we put our pencils in the same sharpener. Yes. And by the way, this shuttle bay that Rob has, it's made by the same people that did the Discovery. You know, when you see the inside of the ship and it's like this infinite inside. Yeah. That's Rob's shuttle bay, because apparently physically, if you want to believe Rob's shuttle bay, that ship would never be able to fly because it would be full of shuttlecrafts in the shuttle bay. Yeah. About Luther the Calling. Yeah, I knew exactly what it was. I knew it was age. I know the main issue is age, and that did bother me. It didn't bother me. Everybody gets older. Everybody has, and it may. What people don't understand is that they gave Indiana Jones a real world problem. You want to believe what you see in one of these fun movies, but you don't want to see him have a real world problem. That's a problem. Everybody has to show some sort of a problem, grief or whatever. And I really think that for Indy, what it was is that it wasn't Marion that was distraught and depressed and couldn't be consoled. It was Indy. I think Indy was really talking about himself, but put it all onto Marion, who had the problem. But it was really him, and he didn't want to say. And some people will do that with grief. They will. Grief is a funny thing. It everybody deals with it differently, and everybody has a different way of going about it. I think Indiana Jones. You said it, not me. Well, I could really tell you because it's down there. Please hit the link and subscribe button. But sure, we can do it your way. And again, folks, if you want to do a letter to me, send it to right here. And I'll put it back into the chat. But yeah, we had a great time last night doing the live stream. We had a good amount of people. We had Fernando. We had some great people. We had Irene. Irene, let me tell you folks about Irene. Okay, yesterday I did a stream that went terribly wrong with my internet, but it came out fine. I interviewed Paul from Twinflix, and Irene was my moderator. And Paul from Twinflix was so impressed with Irene that he asked her that one time, sometime when he does a live stream, he wants her to moderate for him. And that says a lot. Everybody loves Irene, and it's true. Which, by the way, brings me to my next segment is before I get back into what I was doing is this portion. Now I'm just talking like I'm Irish. This portion of the show. I'd like to remind people, if you're looking for an interesting video podcast to watch, check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. And if you go to morningdisaster.net, it'll take you to their Patreon, and you could, for $5 a month, you can watch the show if you want. But Tuesday through Thursday, they do a free show. They show the show for free. But they have some lovely perks. Excuse me. And it's a fun show to watch. It's from Illinois. And it is the most hillbilly thing you will ever see. Ray Lytle has been in the broadcast business for almost 40 years. He has a sidekick named Steve, who is high all the time. And what do I mean by high all the time? Recently, Steve went through 2 lasagna pans full of pot-infused Rice Krispie treats. Ate an entire pan before the show yesterday and was completely gone, just high. One day, Steve got locked in a car for 6 hours. Didn't bother to try the other 3 doors. Didn't even think of it. Steve is, well, special, as we can say, but hilarious. But it will probably make you throw up too sometimes. But he is hilarious. So check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster on YouTube, or check out their Facebook page, or go to warningdisaster.net. And yes, that's right. He's getting gooch blasted. Yes, I can do that for you. 722. That is yes, I can do that. I can do that. Definitely. All right, Maria. Thank you for coming. And I'll definitely get in touch with you. And hello to Efren Guzman. Got it. Hello to Efren Guzman. It is good to see you. Maria, I'll get in touch. I will be in touch with you, babe. Thank you for showing up. I adore Maria, folks. She is one of the good ones. Check out her YouTube channel, youtube.com/after the sequels. Talk to you soon, Maria. Bye-bye. But here we are. It's another beautiful Friday. Well, really, it's a rainy Friday here. You know, raining on and off. It was beautiful last night. I was listening to the rain outside. And what did I do? I put on a rain sound effect on my phone. And it literally put with the rain outside. It made it like surround sound 4DX almost. But this book here, Luther the Calling, great book. Excuse me. Meet Inspector John Luther. He's a murder detective with an extraordinary case clearance rate. He's obsessed, instinctive, and intense. Nobody who ever stood by his side had a bad word about him. And yet, there are rumors that Luther is bad and not corrupt, not on the take, but tormented. After years of chasing down the most depraved criminals in London, in London's gritty underworld, he seethes with a hidden fury that at times he can barely control. Sometimes it sends him to the brink of madness, making him do things any other detective wouldn't and couldn't do. And this is supposed to be the first in a new series of novels that takes us into Luther's past. Yeah, it's a great murder detective. And if you know the show Luther with Idris Elba, this is the book for you. This is a great book for you to check out. Now, the other book I have if you know the author Brad Meltzer is a great author. He used to have a show called Decoded. I don't know if you remember the show Decoded. It used to be on the History. Yeah, it used to be on the History Channel. And so I got here Decoded. History Decoded. The 10 greatest conspiracies of all time. And this is a great book. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why if I don't disappear. Okay? History Decoded right here, and it's by Brad Meltzer. And the cool thing about it is that this book comes with let's see here. I need two hands for this. Like if you really like playing Indiana Jones, this is cool. It comes with little like artifacts and pieces of evidence. It is one of the coolest things I've ever gotten. And I love books like this that come with little doohickeys inside that you have. It's great. And they deal with the stolen treasure of the new Confederacy, America's Stonehenge. There's maps in here. Where is D.B. Cooper? Let's see what else we got here. The White House. Where is the cornerstone of democracy? And it has all these cool little things like the Spear of Destiny, history's most sacred relic. And the Spear of Destiny is something that's in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I believe. The spear that was used to stab Christ on the cross. But it's a fun book. If you want to get kids into history and whatnot, this is fun. Great mysteries and great stuff. He took the 10 greatest conspiracies from his show and he put them into a book. It's really great. And Brad's a great writer. He's written plenty of books. If you look up his name, Brad Meltzer, it's like murder, conspiracy, treasure. Brad Meltzer. Yes. Put his name down here. Brad Meltzer. That's the author's name. And he also has written some Superman comics as well. Brad Meltzer is one of the people that got, I think, I don't know, who got Joel and Jerry Schumacher's house rebuilt. He saved it from being destroyed, and he got it made into a historical landmark because the person who created Superman lived there. It is now a historical landmark. Let's see here. Brad Meltzer, he's written books called The Inner Circle, The Book of Faith, The Fifth Assassin. Those are fiction that he's written, but his nonfiction books are Heroes for My Son, Heroes for My Daughter, but he also does a whole series of books called I Am, like I Am Jim Henson, I Am Beethoven, I Am Superman, for kids, that teach kids who certain people are. And if you look up his name, definitely, if you have kids, get his children's books because he does them great. And he's always touring with them. He's touring with his books, and he's a great guy. I've spoken to him many times on Twitter. one of the nicest guys in the world. He's a big fan of Superman, as I said before, and he's written some of the comic books. No way, Irene. I didn't know you had kids. You know what? I did. I'm going to tell you how great Rob was last night. The first half hour of the show, and he was talking about reading. And when he yelled, "Read a damn book!" Oh no! He yelled, "Read a fucking book!" And he yelled that. And the next thing I know, I got a text from Irene with a picture. She goes, "This is my daughter, and she's reading a book right now because Rob said read a book." And then Irene sent in a $10 super chat to Rob, saying, "This is for you because you got my daughter to read, and she's reading right now." And Rob was happy for that, but he's like, "Oh, I hope she's not watching my show right now." But I think that Rob made a really passionate plea. I think he should have done the whole show on reading, but he did it on streamers. Which, by the way, we talked a little bit about it last night. The SAG actors are on strike with the writers, which is the first time in history that both excuse me, both actors and both actors and writers are on strike. And what was I going to say? This is the first time since the 1980s that the actors have been on strike. All right, in almost 40 years since the actors have been on strike. Darth Plato is pulling a Rain Man and reading the phone book. Good for you. This could be a long one, and there are things that the actors can't do. Forget going to Comic-Con because and seeing an actor at Comic-Con because they're not allowed. They're not allowed to do interviews. They can take pictures, I believe, but they're not allowed to do interviews, and they're not allowed to do panels. They're not allowed to do narrating. They're not allowed to do photos. Yeah, they can do photo shoots. They can't promote anything. They can't go on podcasts. There's like a whole list because they're on strike of things they cannot do. And yeah. I think it said they can finish work on whatever is on now, but a lot of things already in production are shutting down. Deadpool 3 shut down. So that movie is not filming anymore. Production is shut down on Deadpool 3. So it might be a while before we see that. I know Scarlett Johansson, who is married to Colin Yost from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, and I believe they just had a baby about a year or two ago. I didn't even know. I don't know if it was done by surrogacy, or I didn't know if I can't remember if Scarlett was even pregnant. I don't know how she had the baby. Maybe they adopted it. But congrats to her. Is it a shame? Yes. Should they be paid fair and balanced? Oh, yes. Did it help that Fran Drescher went to Paris over the weekend to a yeah. Did it help that Fran Drescher went to Paris over the weekend and hung out with Kim Kardashian at a fashion show? No. I believe what the studio's plans are, they're not going to budge, and they're going to not budge and make sure that the writers end up without food, that they go hungry. I don't know if they're going to use non-union workers, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen now? It's all because of AI. A lot of it's all because of AI. They want to know that their job is secure. They want to be protected from it. My question is, and excuse me for burping, what do you do about actors who sign away their likeness and voice likeness for future use with AI? So they give away their likeness, their facial likeness, and their vocal likeness away to AI. What do you do then? What do you do about people like that? You don't know. Am I a human? Yes. That hurt. So, another book. I like biographies. Love them. One of the Nanny. Fran Drescher's The Nanny. I have a crush. I had a crush on Fran Drescher. I still kind of do, Yeah. But what are you gonna do? It's the future. Everything's going forward. You gotta figure out a way to do it right, and not screw people over with it. So the next book I wanted to show, because I love biographies, and it's this one. It's called Me by Elton John. This is Elton John's biography. This is a really good book, okay? And Elton John, in this book called Me, this is one of the greatest autobiographies that I've ever read. It's literally Elton John, unfiltered, talking about everyone and everything and everyone he's known. He talks about his friendship with George Michael. He talks about his friendship with John Lennon, which is profoundly moving. And one of the stories goes is that both John and John Lennon were in a hotel room, and I think they were doing cocaine or something like that. And someone knocked at the door, and it was, I'm trying to think. I think it may have been David Bowie or something like that. It was someone who John Lennon found annoying or something like that. It was someone that he thought would make a big deal about the cocaine or whatever. But that's not the moving part. The moving part is Elton John talking about the day he found out about John Lennon's death. So Elton John was on a plane. The plane landed in New York. Did it land in New York? I think it might have been either London or New York. I forgot where, but it was like they were waiting to get off the plane, and they wouldn't let him off the plane. And I guess the pilot came out, and he was pale, and he looked at Elton, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't let you off the plane right now." And Elton goes, "Why?" And the pilot goes, "Well, someone shot and killed John Lennon last night." And it was gut wrenching for Elton. As a matter of fact, let me see here. And there's even an index. So let's see. And actually, the indexes here. Let's see. Do I Elton ear, Elton Geller, Elton and Jackson Michael, Elton John. Let's see. Oh, here we go. 175. Okay. It's where he landed in Melbourne. So it says here, our plane had just landed in Melbourne when the steward's voice came over the speaker saying that the Elton John party couldn't disembark. We had to stay on board. And first thought he thought it was his grandmother who died, but one of his friends went to the cockpit and came back in tears and told him that John Lennon had been murdered. That's what it was. And it really made a huge impact on Elton John when John Lennon died. I would have loved to have seen that in Rocket Man. I love the Rocket Man movie. I actually own it on Blu-ray. I own that. It's over in my collection. I should watch that again. But they almost did in Rocket Man because it was the guy who took over for Bryan Singer on Bohemian Rhapsody was the director of Rocket Man. And at one point, there was going to be a moment where they were going to have Elton John in a restaurant, and in would walk Freddie Mercury, and they were going to have Rami Malek come in as Freddie Mercury, and they were going to do it like that. But it never happened. That would have been cool, and that would have really been a crossover between two movies as well. There is a I forgot what I was going to say. And it'll come back to me later. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, let's see. Okay. Now I enjoy the 50 times a day that Facebook tells me it's someone's birthday. It's so-and-so's birthday. Wish them well. It's so-and-so's birthday. Show them that you care. It's so-and-so's birthday. No. Irene. You're allowed to have emotions. We all are. Doesn't care if you're a man or a woman, you're allowed to show your emotions. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I do that. I can watch a movie and if I can really get into it and there's an emotional part, I will let that emotion go through and it'll hit me. I think I may be an empath. And I do empathize with people who, going through stuff. So it will hit me. And it will wash, and I will let that wash over me, and it'll move me. So yeah. So yeah. And Irene has a when we watch the Morning Disaster, just to go back to them for a moment, because I'm all over the place today. Uh, Irene will be in the chat on Facebook, and for some reason, someone will flag her and report her, and then she has to use her husband's account. And then the other day, someone flagged and reported her husband's account, and she was regaled to go use the Facebook chat, and not the Facebook, the YouTube chat. I swear it's not me. I'm not reporting you. I don't know who's reporting you, Irene, but it is very funny. It is very funny when that happens. But yeah. Let's see here. So, if my calculations are correct, tonight on the Bring Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, is PGS Treks with RM and Julian Michigan. Check that out. I wanted to remind everybody about that. And I think there might be a musings, but with Rob, you never know. And I do know Rob is going to Comic-Con, by the way, folks. So if you're going to Comic-Con, go see Rob. There's going to be a free enterprise panel. He's doing a free enterprise panel at Comic-Con. So go see that. If you're there, go say hi to Rob. Have a drink with him. I don't know if he'll drink with you, but have a drink with him. Oh. I don't know. I don't know. No, Shatner probably won't be there. I don't know. Maybe he will. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know if he's striking with the other actors. Because a lot of actors can't promote things. They can't do interviews. They can't. There's so much they can't do. There's a huge list. You have to look it up online, and it'll tell you exactly what actors can and can't do while striking. So. Yeah, Rob's going to be there for a free enterprise panel. I think he's doing the Inglorious Chexperts panel. He's doing a few panels. I know that. But they all, by the way, at Morning Disaster, they all love Irene. They love Irene, though. Those hosts, they love her. But from what I'm hearing, that they also love me over there as well. So, who doesn't? And as I said last night, look, folks, I am not perfect. I don't have all the answers. I can listen to people's problems. I can give the best advice that I can give them. But I don't know all the answers. I'm not perfect in any way at all. Yes, Shatner on the Fly on the Wall podcast. For those of you who don't know, that's Dana Carvey's and David Spade's Saturday Night Live podcast. And they bring on guests who have been on the show, like Paul McCartney, Adam Sandler. They just did a huge thing over the winter of 2 episodes celebrating the life of Chris Farley, because it's been 25 years since he passed away. In September, they're doing a huge thing for Phil Hartman, of remembering him as well. They did a great interview with Alec Baldwin, who at one point did a Phil Hartman impression, and it almost made Dana Carvey cry, because it sounded just like Phil Hartman. And Dana even said, you just sounded like you brought back Phil there for a moment there. I almost got broken up over it. It's a great podcast. And they talk about being on SNL, but they also just talk about everything in between as well. But a lot of it is their time being on the show, and it is fascinating. It's like you have what you always wanted to do is sit there with someone from SNL and say, what was it like? And tell me some behind the scenes stories. And they'll give you lots of great behind the scenes stories. And one of the things that almost broke my mind was Alec Baldwin told Dana Carvey, he goes, well, I'm 65, he says. And Dana Carvey goes, well, I'm 67. And it blew Alec Baldwin away. It blew me away, too. I didn't realize that Dana Carvey is 67 years old. So there's that. So, yeah. Yeah, there's a rumor that Stargate might come back. Yeah, the Alec Baldwin episode was great. Yeah, he is. He is. And I remember when I was in high school and I was at the school, Grove School, the Grove School in Madison, Connecticut. There's a website, groveschool.org. If you want to check out the school, if you have a child that has a hard time in learning and all that stuff, that's the school for them to go to. If you're looking for a residential school to send your kids to, check that school out. Anyways, when I was in high school, we would stay up and watch SNL. And it was those years when it was Carvey, Myers, Sandler, Farley, Rock, all those great guys, Phil Hartman, all those great character actors on there. And that was really strong back then when you had the great Phil Hartman, who could do anybody really. Or you had, let's see, when I was there, it was in high school, it was Dennis Miller, and then it was Norm Macdonald. I remember Norm Macdonald doing the news. But it was mostly Dennis Miller doing the updates at the time. Yeah, lots of great people, and some great. One of the performances, one of the skits, and it's on YouTube. And Alec Baldwin brought it up, and it's one of my favorites. It's Chris Farley's in it, and Mike Myers and Alec Baldwin and Janine Garofalo, and it's a Japanese game show they're doing. And Chris Farley it's just a guy who ends up going to see this Japanese game show, but ends up being a guest, a contestant on it. But it's all in Japanese. and Mike Myers learned Japanese um, for that scene, for that part of the show. And when it is one of the funniest things because Farley ends up getting electrocuted, and it is so funny that it's called Japanese Game Show. If you look up Japanese Game Show, SNL, Chris Farley, you will lose it. It is one of the best. There was that one. There was when they did the Gap Girls. The Gap Girls would be Farley, Spade, Schneider, and Sandler as well. But they were a great cast then. Or another one of my favorite skits would be the alternate ending to It's a Wonderful Life. The alternate ending to It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite SNL skits, and I'll tell you why. It's because you have Dana Carvey as Jimmy Stewart, and it's basically the scene at the end of the movie where they come back with the money and stuff, and they go to Mr. Potter, who's played by John Lovitz. And he's like, well, I found the money, Mr. Potter. I found the money. I found the money. And they all like start cheering for Christmas and whatnot. But then they get mad at the evil guy the banker. And they all just go and gang stomp the guy. They beat the crap out of him. That was the alternate ending, I believe it was, to the film. And then they all start singing Hark the Herald, the Angels Sing, or something like that. It's a funny skit. Yeah, the world is not the same without Chris Farley. Chris Farley was great. People thought that the Farley Swayze thing, that dance sequence, was a bit offensive. But if it was, Chris wouldn't have done it if he didn't think it was funny. And Chris really made that scene. Chris is why that scene is so funny. And Patrick Swayze, God bless the both of them. You know, he loved doing that too. He had a good sense of humor about it. And I think that was the episode that Patrick Swayze was on because he was promoting Ghost at the time, I believe. Yeah, he was promoting Ghost. And I have that movie. I haven't watched that one in a long time either. Ghost is a great film. Great film. Yeah. The problem with Farley was this. He was a huge Belushi fan, and he wanted to be just like Belushi. And every time that Chris would go and get help and cleaned up, he'd go out and people would buy him drinks and whatnot, and he didn't want to disappoint his fans, and he would drink with them. So it was kind of a curse and a blessing for him. Phil Hartman, on the other hand, that's a whole other story. Yes, Seinfeld as the teacher was a good one too. Phil Hartman, what can you say? He did everything. Phil Hartman used to design album covers. I don't know if you know this. He was a graphic designer as well. So he did some albums for, I think, a band called Poco. Lots of great album covers. But also at one point, he's in one of my favorite movies. Actually, two or three of my favorite movies. He does a great appearance in So I Married an Axe Murderer, and he's the guard at Alcatraz who gives the tour. But Mike Myers and Anthony LaPaglia are talking, and he's like trying to give a speech, but these two keep talking, and he's getting irritated with them. He's great in that. What was the other one? Sergeant Bilko. He's great as the officer in it. That it's gunning for Steve Martin's Sergeant Bilko. So yeah. But one of the great, let me think here. One of my favorite movies is with Dana Carvey. It's Dana Carvey, John Lovitz, and Nicolas Cage. It's called Trapped in Paradise. And if you have not seen that, it is a great Christmas movie. It's a very funny movie. It's about these three thieves who decide to rob a bank at Christmas time, and they're trying to get out of this town called Paradise. And every time they try to leave, something just keeps them there, and they can never leave. And it's hilarious. And Dana Carvey plays a kleptomaniac and is brilliant at it. But Dana Carvey, his first two big movies were, the first one was with, and I'm telling you, for anybody to get a first movie with these two, it's amazing. His first film was with Kurt Russell and Burt Lancaster, and it was called Tough Guys. He's great in that movie. His second movie was with Richard Pryor, and it's called Moving. And Dana Carvey is hysterical in that movie. As a matter of fact, Nicolas Cage has a movie coming out called The Retirement Plan. Look up that trailer. It is hysterical. It's almost like he's a John Wick type character. But it's like his granddaughter, who he's never met, comes to visit him. And he's like, oh, well, what happened to your parents? What did your parents do now? And he has to save his daughter, her husband, and it's just him and his granddaughter doing this. And it looks funny, but it's a lot of action. It doesn't look goofy or anything like that, but it looks fun. And it's called The Retirement Plan. And Nicolas Cage has this big beard in it and stuff. It looks like a lot of fun. That's what I love about Nicolas Cage. He can do action great. He does drama great. But he needs to do more comedies. Because he's fan-freaking-tastic with it. But Moving with Richard Pryor is a great film. It's about a man who I think he gets like a promotion from his job, but the only stipulation is he has to move to Boise, Idaho. And his family doesn't want to go, but they have to move anyways. And he has to deal with the movers. He's got to deal with gangs. And then he's got to deal with Dana Carvey, and it's hilarious. Richard Pryor was great. And I love Richard Pryor as well. He did some great, great films, such as Moving, Stir Crazy, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Where he played a blind man, and Gene Wilder played the deaf man. Stir Crazy, Silver Streak. He makes an appearance in where he gets Gene Wilder in the bathroom and has him do blackface, and Gene Wilder's like, "Am I doing it? No, no, come on, you gotta get with the beat, get with the beat." And he's teaching him how to act black, and it's funny. Today that wouldn't fly by, but you know, like last night we were talking about classic movies last night. Yeah, Tough Guys. All right, Tough Guys you can get on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber, and if you get the Tough Guys Blu-ray, watch the movie, but then watch it with the director's commentary, because that director starts talking about films that he was going to do but couldn't do or had quit. The director of Tough Guys was originally supposed to do Dead Poets Society, and he wanted to bring someone else in for it, but the studio really wanted Robin Williams for it, and he didn't want to do that. So they fired him from it, or he walked away from it. But he starts talking about movies he could have done and shouldn't have done, and it blows your mind of what he could have done. It's one of those, because in the middle of commentary he goes, I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but I think the time's expired and I can talk about it now. The movies have been made, or something like that, and he just goes into these things. Yeah. Oh, and hello, V, by the way. Yeah, but Tough Guys is a great movie with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas and Eli Wallace. And if you know Eli Wallace, he's from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And Eli Wallace is so funny in the movie as well. And Tough Guys really is an 80s movie. It's 86, 87, something like that. It's right in the middle of the 80s, and it really sticks out for that time. It's like a time capsule of the 80s. It's about these two guys that robbed the train, and they're finally let out of prison, but they can't talk to each other for like 2 years or something like that. And it's them trying to deal with being out in the world and dealing with all the new stuff that's going on. It's a brilliant idea for a movie. But we were talking last night about classic films, and Catherine, the lovely Catherine of Cat's Corner with RM on the Burnett Network, was in the chat. And we were talking about movies that we love, and I brought up the Pink Panther. And when we realized that this year was it's the 60th anniversary of the original Pink Panther movie, but the Italian anniversary for it, because it was released in Italy first, and then it was released in March of '64 in America. So it gets two anniversaries, really. And the only reason I brought up the Pink Panther is because I brought up Being There, because I was talking to Fernando Barrero, and I was recommending Being There to him. Which, if you have never seen Being There, folks, get it, watch it. It's a beautiful movie. Great movie. Shirley MacLaine, Melvyn Douglas, who is the grandfather of Ileana Douglas, who Ileana Douglas is one of the nicest people I've talked to. She and I have had interactions on Twitter, and had they not done this strike, I was going to try and get her to come on my show and interview her because she's got a book coming out about Connecticut, and I wanted to talk to her about it and talk to her about her career and stuff like that because she's fantastic. She's in the movie Ghost World, which I love. Um, yeah, and nobody touches Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was one of a kind. I'll tell you this. I think Peter Sellers and Andy Kaufman were both cut from the same cloth because you never knew the real Andy and you never knew the real Peter. You never did. Because they were both under character, under character, under character. And there's a great, what is it, a documentary? Yeah, there's a documentary that's going to be made about Andy Kaufman. And I can't wait to see that. Because I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. But yeah, Peter Sellers is great in Doctor Strangelove, where he plays, I don't know, three or four characters in it. And for that time, no one has ever done that. You know, no one would ever play that many characters. Well, yeah, at that time, no one did. But afterwards, someone like Jerry Lewis did one for the Family Jewels. And he plays like, I don't know, 6 characters. Well, no, it even goes back further than that because Alec Guinness and I think Kind Hearts and Coronets plays like 6 different characters, including a woman. Which, by the way, if you only know Alec Guinness from Star Wars films, look up his older films like The Lavender Hill Mob, Captain's Paradise, The Man in the White Suit. He was great in those movies. He Alec Guinness, The Lady Killers, you know. Yeah, Peter Sellers was a I think he was James Bond at one point, wasn't he? They had like different Bonds. That's right, Casino Royale. You have Woody Allen in it playing a villain. Orson Welles, like that original Casino Royale is a who's who of classic Hollywood. It's right up there to me with Mad World, which I love. I adore Mad World because it has so many great comedians in it. I remember someone told me about that movie. They said, "Have you ever heard of it?" I go, "No." And the guy goes, You should see it." And I go, "Why?" I must have been about 11 or 12 at the time. Yeah, about 11 and 12. And the guy goes, "Well, it literally starts off with this guy kicking the bucket." I go, "Well, the guy dies?" He goes, "Well, no, he literally kicks the bucket." And immediately I had to see that. And it's one of the great movies I own from Criterion. And it has the road, they call it the Roadshow edition, where it's just extended edition of the movie. It's a great movie. It has all these classic comic actors from Jim Backus to Mickey Rooney. The Three Stooges are in it for like maybe 20, 30 seconds. Ethel Merman. Like, it's a great who's who of classic comedy. Merlin Burl and his third leg are in the movie as well. Jonathan Winters. Oh, Jerry Lewis at one point, and then you have the great Spencer Tracy, and I think it's right. That movie was made right before he died. Spencer Tracy had breathing problems. I think he had emphysema or something like that at the time. So before I take, he was always having to take the oxygen and stuff. No, you're allowed to like Tropic Thunder. As a matter of fact, I think Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Cruise still want to do a sequel to the movie. Tom Cruise still wants to do a Les Grossman movie. You know, he's it's all yeah, it's all out there. Let's see here. I'm trying to. As I keep getting messages here. Hold on. Fran Drescher mobbed on SAG-AFTRA picket lines, says studios are, quote, doing bad things to good people. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 lights the fuse with 64 million global through first 2 days. It will get there. It'll get there and stuff. Let's see what we got here. Okay, it is one. Hello to everybody on Twitter. Great. Oh yes, I do get those DMs. I'll tell you how you can tell when something is a scam. And this is absolutely true. When something is a scam, you'll talk to someone for a while, and then it'll be, well, you know, my birthday's coming up. I could really use a new phone. Don't you want to get me a new phone for my birthday? I thought you cared about me. And it's like, I don't know you. I'm not sending you a phone. I'm not sending you money. I don't know you. Or I recently had someone message me, well, my charger is broken. And I want to be able to keep talking to you. And I knew exactly where that was going. I literally told the person about my hesitation with scammers, you know? So, yeah. So, right now we are on Twitter, we are on Twitch, and we are on YouTube. So, hello to you all. If you are on the Twitch, which I don't know my Twitch handle, I have to look it up. And I will do that before the next thing. So yeah, Tom, am I a Trek fan? Yes, I am. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I enjoy the original series. I enjoy all of Star Trek. I even enjoy modern Star Trek, folks. Yes, I do. I have no problem with it. You know, I don't. I don't. I just go with it. You know, I just go with the flow. I don't complain about things that much. Like the only movie I didn't like recently, like in the last few years, was Joker. And I'll tell you why. Because Joker didn't feel like a Joker type movie. What it felt like was you could drop anyone else into that role and it could be about XYZ. It could be about a man that shoots up places or goes crazy because of XYZ and puts on a clown face. It was basically a rehash of um, Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. It was depressing and disturbing, but it did not feel like a Joker movie. And sometimes when you do a movie about a spin-off movie about a villain, and you don't have the hero antagonist, the hero that goes after said villain in it, it throws you out for that movie. But I haven't watched Joker in a while. I should probably rewatch it and see what I think of it now because it's been a few years. But it really just I couldn't get into it. Right. Yeah, Taxi Driver. Um, and by the way, in case you're wondering, today I'm wearing my Pinocchio shirt. Let's see if I can show it. And it says it wasn't me. Right. Yeah. So like I said before, you literally could have made a movie about that character, about Bernard Getz or Goetz. You could have made a movie about him. You know what I mean? Joker, that movie Joker could have been about anybody. So that's why it was I couldn't get into it. I am interested in seeing Joker 2 because it's going to be a musical. It's going to have Lady Gaga in it. I want to see that take on Harley Quinn. I want to see how they're going to do that. And hopefully it'll be a little bit better than the first one. And look, and if you love it, if you loved Joker, that's fine. And that's your opinion. My opinion is not the be all end all of all opinions, you know? It's funny because, people say, well, you always like everything. And I do. I don't look for the flaws in things. I watch movies because I love them and I enjoy them. I don't look for what's going to bother me. And I was listening to Conan O'Brien's podcast. I think it was this week. And his assistant, Sona, they were talking about how Conan would go to screenings and stuff. And there were some things that really weren't that good, but, as a talk show host, you got to pretend to like them. But Sona would love everything that they watched. And he goes, well, Sona, you love everything. She goes, yeah, I do, because someone worked on that. Someone wrote it. Someone directed it. Someone made costumes and put things together. And then that's why she loves it, and she was supporting those people, which, it's great. But you got to love movies, and even, excuse me, even Conan had said that there have been some actors that have come on the show who have said, during a break, I know it's not one of my best, No one knows if a movie's going to do good when they're making it. They can't tell if it's going to be bad at the time. No one does. It's how it goes. Favorite Chuck movie? Oh yeah, I love boobies too. Me too. Favorite Chuck movie would be The Voyage Home. And I'll tell you why. It's one scene in that movie in particular that I could watch over and over again. And it's the scene where Kirk and Spock go to, excuse me, it's the scene where Kirk and Spock go to the aquarium, and they're trying to get the whales. They're trying to look at them, and Kirk is taking the tour, and they're all watching it, and you just see this from Kirk. He's standing there like, and it's all these reaction shots until you hear some little old lady say, well, maybe he can tell you what's going on with it. And the camera turns, and there's Spock in the water up next to the whales, touching the whales, communicating with them. And that scene, to no end, makes me laugh. That is one of my go-to scenes in a Star Trek show. But I also love it because it's just so different than any normal Star Trek movie. Yeah, so here's a fun fact. When they did what's that movie I'm thinking of? Spaceballs. If you look at Bill Pullman's character of Lone Star is not dressed like Han Solo. Lone Star is dressed like Indiana Jones. And I never noticed that till I was reading something about it. And now I can't unsee that. And neither can you. As a matter of fact, here's a great one for you. And Conan O'Brien put this out there. He's ruined movies for me, and I'm going to ruin them for you now, because it's going to drive you crazy. So he says that he's watched old episodes of like Gilmore Girls with his daughter and stuff. And there are scenes in movies and television where you see someone walk into an elevator. And what it is really is just two guys pulling on a rope that opens the doors. And what hit him is that, they open the doors, those doors close, and basically that actor is inside a box for God knows how long until the scene is over. So you could have a background character go into an elevator, doors open, they go in the elevator, the door shuts. Those background actors are stuck in that elevator, in that box, till they yell cut and someone opens those doors again for them. And he says he notices that in every movie. And now you'll never be able to stop thinking about that. Yep. Yep. So, let's see. Well, yeah, if you are into like Halloween and movie making, like model making, or just like making things for Halloween that you want to stick outside your house, check out Stilt Beast Studios. Okay, so let me write this down. What's it called again? Stilt Beast Studios. And it's on YouTube. Yes, the Gilmore Girls takes place in a pretend town in Connecticut called Stars Hollow. But the square is, I want to say, on the Warner Brothers lot. It's either the one, yeah, it's on the Warner Brothers lot. And you can actually take the Warner Brothers tour in California and go there, the Stars Hollow, and see it. Is it Warner Brothers? Yeah, it's Warner Brothers. And you can also take the Universal tour and go to the Back to the Future place. Yep, Luke Steiner. All that is in California, but it's supposed to be Connecticut. But before I forget, let's see here. Stilt. Okay. Stilt. Beast Studios. Let's see here. Stilt Beast Studios. Yep. So this is the one here. Yeah, Generations is another great one as well. Stilt Beast Studios is a great channel on YouTube, and this guy shows you how for $6 you can make an easy. You could take one of those foam pumpkins and turn it into a scary looking pumpkin, and it's really cool. And he does. He has a live channel as well where he will, do a few hours at night and show you while he's doing masks, painting them, and all that stuff. It's really cool. So check out Stilt B Studios. Yeah. As a matter of fact, now all the craft stores are bringing out the Halloween stuff. It's a full-on code orange, as my friend Chris the Girl, that's CRIS the Girl on YouTube, has been reporting on. And they just announced for Halloween Horror Nights, they announced a new house. They're going to be doing Stranger Things 4. They revealed some of the merchandise. It's got Vecna on the shirt. It should be something else. Which that's going to be interesting. I wonder how they're going to do Halloween Horror Nights this year. We shall see. We shall see. Now it's called. Her name is. Let's see here. Let's see here. P.S. Let's see. www.youtube.com/at Chris the Girl. Let me make sure I got that right. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. There we go. There's the channel. Check her out. She she does a lot of theme park stuff. She does a lot of Halloween stuff. She's very, very nice. She has a fiance named Tampa J. Great guy as well. I've interacted with them both on Twitter. That they're very, very nice people. Very nice people uh, to talk to. They're actually, I mean, they're in Florida. Um, so they're not that far from you, you know. So yeah, she's a great person to watch. Really nice girl. Check her out, folks. You know, and I don't know. I guess recently in the news, there are some states where I guess they don't acknowledge your license. Two of the states they don't acknowledge licenses from in Florida are Rhode Island and Connecticut, which I think is pretty much illegal to do. I could be wrong about that. But then again, we're talking about the governor of Florida, who's a bit so. You know, what are you going to do? But if you have Disney Plus, folks, and this is really cool, they have what's called Disney Movie Insiders. All right, and if you sign up for it and then you connect your um, Disney Plus account to them, each month you get points. Or every time you see a movie that is like uh, a Disney movie or a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie or something like that, and you scan your tickets into it, you get points. And they have a lot of things that you can get for like as rewards. And like for me, I've got the Free Guy poster, Shang-Chi, the Bob's Burgers poster. So yeah, you can get some really great movie posters. You can get. I got the um, Captain America: Civil War in 3D from them. That movie. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, folks, speaking of Florida, check out because Monday nights on the Burn Network. Um, why am I doing this? Yeah, I have the Bob's Burger movie poster. I actually have that movie on Blu-ray. I love that movie. Let's see here. I love Bob's Burgers. It's like one of my favorite shows. It's one of my favorite movies. Enjoy it to the hilt. I enjoy it. Oh, if you take your tickets, like if you have physical tickets from a movie, if you download the Disney movie, I think it's either Disney Movie Rewards or Disney Movie Insiders. I think it's called Disney Movie Rewards. They have a thing where you could scan your tickets into it and you get points for it. Anyway, speaking of Lorena Creole, folks, please remember. Let's see here if I could find it. Monday nights. Actually, you know what? I got this here. Let's see here. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, The all cheeseburger? No, I have not. But tomorrow night, don't forget to join RM and Lorena Creole, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, for a greatest geek year ever episodes 1 and 2. I did. RM doesn't know if she's doing episode 2 because it premieres tomorrow night, but I think they're going to do episode 1. So you can either watch on Positive Fandom or the Network, and check out Lorena Creole's channel as well, folks. And I'm talking to those who are watching the replay, watching on Twitter, watching on Twitch, watching wherever the wheels may go. And also check out Mikey Leo's channel as well. And here we go. Right here. Matter of fact, go sign up for Lorena Creole's channel. Watch one of her videos. Tell her that I sent you. I've always wanted someone to do that. I found your channel through Tom Jr. Jackson. He told me to tell you this. And as always, folks, please remember Monday nights on the Network, you can find Lorena Creole and RM doing Ladies of the PGS on the Network, and you can sign up for the Network. It's in the chat. As always, I always try to leave the chat replays up, so if you want to watch the show with the replays, all the links are in there. And the links for some of these channels are in my description box down below. And as always, all my shows are in playlists. So you can have fun watching all my reviews and whatnot. It's just great. Yes, RM is one of the best. She's a great friend. She is a friend and co-collaborator, co-conspirator, all around excellent friend. And I love her. I do. She's one of the best that's out there. You know, she and I talk just about almost every day. Almost every day. Her mom as well. RM's mom's doing good, you know. She's hanging in there, doing her thing. And I'm sure RM would gladly love to know that you were asking about her. Let's see here. Do we got everything here? Yeah, I love her mom too. I met her mom. A few years ago online through Zoom. We went back during the pandemic. RM was out in California, I think, and her mom was in the hospital out there, and we were doing a Zoom, and we all got to meet her mom, and it was wonderful. Also, check out Mikey Leo's channel. You know, and my mother is doing good too, folks. My mom is doing great. Yeah. But that was about 2, 3 years ago, something like that, when we used to do a lot of Zooms. I got to start doing more Zooms, and I should, and invite a lot of you folks to come and hang out with some of the other PGS members that I have on there, because it's fun. It is fun doing my Zooms. I think it was during Comic-Con. I think she was out there for. I can't remember. Okay, so some people go, well, "What books do you read? What books do you read?" So I like different kinds of books, like biographies, mysteries, murders, suspense, and I've been reading. I've been reading a book, a series of books by this author, Kerry Manscalio, and the first book is called Kingdom of the Cursed. The second one is called Kingdom of the Wicked, which I've just started, Kingdom of the Wicked. And then comes, after that, Kingdom of the Feared. And these are great young adult books, but they're great books. Basically, it's about this girl who loses her sister. And it turns out that her sister was killed. And she meets the devil and his siblings. And she goes to hell. And it's really interesting. It's a love story. It's a suspense. It's really great. And it takes place in like the 1800s or something like that. Yeah, it's a great book. I can't wait to start the third one. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, JH Edits. I will be sure to let her know this. And I will be sure to let her know. As a matter of fact, let's see here. There we go. I've actually screenshotted that. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like Ghost Rider, but it's not. It takes place in the 1800s, I think it is, or 1700s, and it takes place in Italy. It's a really, really interesting book. I heard about it from a YouTuber called Psycho Traveler. Let's see if I can find her channel. Hold on. There we go. Psycho Traveler YouTube. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So check out. I haven't seen her post for a while, but this is a great girl. Her name is Allie. Let's see here. Psycho. Why don't I do this? YouTube.com/@psychotraveler. She's a young woman who travels. She's been traveling the world. She had to spend a lot of the pandemic back in England. She's even written a book. I have the book here somewhere. It's a fantastic book. It's there is a bit of the R word in it. An assault has happened to her and how she deals with it. So, but it's a wonderful book. She's a wonderful, wonderful YouTuber. Check that out. And I'm always throwing out YouTubers that I watch, throwing out their chords. And thank you very much. Yeah, look, we were talking last night about my kidney transplant and all that stuff, and why I talk about that stuff. And it's because life is too damn short to be angry and complain, and too much of the internet does that. Too much of the internet complains and argues and nitpicks, and it's all done for views, and that's not who I am. I don't do that. I don't trash other channels, you know. Now, many people have said, well, is Rob working back with John Campia? John called up Rob last week. I think it was last week. He called him up, said, hey, can you come and just sit on the panel? Rob said, sure. And it was just for one day. Rob and John are friends. They just don't work together anymore. And that's okay, folks. You know, it's okay that they don't work together. But they're friends, you know. Rob's doing his own thing. John's doing his own thing. I just don't like it when people come into the chat for Rob's shows when I'm moderating and they start trashing on John. You can have an opinion. You don't have to like John Campia. Just don't trash him in our chat, because we don't do that. The people and Rob does have rules on his channel, and most people don't realize that. And I think, and I've said this before, one day someone complained about me doing my job to Rob, and how they did it was they sent $30 in $10 super chats to complain about me to Rob. Do I think Rob is correct? Maybe. I don't know. I see, that's me though. I didn't have a problem with Indiana Jones. I think, was there too much time in between the two movies? Yes. I think when you have too much time in between movies and you make a sequel or something, you end up with a generation of people who don't know that character and don't understand it as well as those who do. Yeah, some guy complained about me, spent $30 in super chats complaining about me for doing my job. And all I said to the guy was, please stop saying whatever you're saying. We have rules. And if you keep it up, I'm going to have to put you in timeout. And if you come back and keep it up, I'm going to have to boot you. And the guy's like, well, you can't put me in timeout. I'm an adult. You can't tell me what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I can. See, we as moderators on Rob's channel have a set of rules that when we post, become a member of the channel, do this. But when Rob brings up something political, there's a reason that they don't want the Rob can bring it up. That's all on Rob if he wants to bring that up. But for a individual, like anybody in the chat bringing up, they don't want that happening because it can backfire and become very divided. And then you got people who start complaining, and then you got people who are very much complain and end up becoming obnoxious, and then they start trolling other people and then setting other people off, and it's very hard to calm people down from that. So that's why they want you to keep it on the focus of entertainment. If Rob wants to talk about political stuff, that's his choice, you know? How did RMB deal with that? Well, at first Rob was like, well, I trust Tom as a moderator in how he runs things, and I trust his choices. And I think Justin Toner was in there with me, and Justin ended up having to boot him because the guy was too obnoxious. So the guy comes back with a second account, complains about me again, starts yelling at me and Justin. We boot him again. Comes back the third time and writes to Rob, this is my third time complaining. I had to go into a third account. So when Rob's reading these chats, he's doing them one after the other after the other. He goes, look, if you're coming back with a third account, obviously you're doing something wrong and you're not listening to the rules that we have set in here. Because when you come to my channel, you are basically in my house. You follow my rules or you don't stay. And you respect the rules. You know? What rules were violated in the Rob chat? What rules were... It was the fact that this guy was trolling people. And, we just asked him very nicely, please don't do that. The guy didn't want to listen, and we had to do what we had to do. You know, it's a lot. And I'm a very fair person. That's why I always give you that warning. Look, I'm telling you now, if you don't stop, I'm going to have to do this. And if I have to do this and then you come back and keep it up, I'm going to have to do the other thing. And I don't want to do that. I never want to do that. They just weren't being nice. They were trolling people. I think 2 weeks ago, something like that, someone was in the chat, started saying things about me, and luckily there's a filter on, and it tells you, do you want to show it or do you want to hide it? And I immediately hit it, and the person kept going and going, and I ended up booting him because they weren't listening, and I can't remember who it was. Like I said, there are some people that just come to these chats or come to the shows because they want to start a problem. They just want to troll, get things going, cause chaos. No, it wasn't Tiger Paws. Although Tiger Paws does send me dirty pictures. Go figure. Pictures of the mud, the dirt, dirty pictures. So there's that. Okay, folks, we're at the 2-hour mark. I think that's pretty good for today. No. Anyways, Tiger Paws can send pictures from her little box to Steve or Christina. Wink, wink. If you know, you know. So yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming. We've got the 2-hour mark. Will I be hosting again? I think Sunday night, I believe. I think I'll be doing it again Sunday night. We'll see. I want to say, before I go, I got to post this. I want to say things about you. That doesn't sound good. But then it goes, you're a cool guy, and I like Irene jobs as well. Well, Irene, he likes your jobs. V likes your jobs. Yes. Send them to Steve Stanton, who got stuck in a car for 6 hours, was incredibly high, and likes to use a lasagna pan. What he uses it for, we'll let you guess. And I want to thank all my people here. I want to thank my moderators, RM, the lovely RM. Please like and subscribe to her channel. Let's see here if I can get it up here. Not like that, Irene. I knew exactly where you were going with that. Okay. Please subscribe to Positive Fandom on the Twitters, not the Twitters, on the YouTube. You can join RM and Julian Mushkin tonight on the Burnett Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, for PGS Treks Live. And then hopefully tonight at midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific, will be Midnight Musings as well. Hopefully Rob will be doing that. But I want to thank RM. I want to thank my lovely, lovely, lovely assistant, Irene Jobson. I'm telling you, folks, if Irene was single, I think she'd be single. No, okay. I think she and I would have been a really interesting couple of troublemakers. But we still are. She's my partner in filth. Yes, I will do that. I can do that. I'll actually explain more next time about the Disney Movie Rewards thing and how that works and how to scan your tickets and stuff. Yeah, but I love Irene. She's one of my best friends. She really is. In the little time that we've known each other, partners in filth. Boom. And on that note, folks, please remember, everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is read a goddamn book. Oh, hello, Twin Flicks. Thanks for showing up. We're just about to end the show, though. But thank you for showing up anyways. Join me again Sunday night, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific time. Unless Rob goes live and I got to move it to Monday. Who knows? But on that note, folks, please remember we are all goof people, and I will see you again. I am on the Letterboxd. I am on the Letterboxd app. Hold on a moment here, folks. Hold on a moment. Let's see here. Before we go, I'll actually put that up. I'm on the Letterboxd. Let's see here. If you are on the Letterboxd app, and I think we were trying to explain this to Irene. 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, Pacific time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Right. And here, I'm on Letterboxd. So, matter of fact, it's if you look under my lives on my channel, you'll see, all the things there, but you'll see lives and it'll say upcoming. Just sign up for the notifications to know when I go live. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Click that, ring that, how can I say it? Please click the like and subscribe buttons, and also flick that notification bean. Yeah, flick that bean, the notification bean. That is. That one was for Irene. And on that note, folks, I'm going to say thank you for coming. Irene, thank you for coming. And we'll see you next time. We're all good people. Bye-bye.